that you don't call another human being Your Highness. You're complaining about your hard life, and you're so privileged. It's just so weird. It's ridiculous.
Wasn't there some speculation that she was on Epstein's yacht at one point in time? There was like photos with her and Prince Andrew way back in the day when she was like in her early 20s.
She is a malignant narcissist who cannot get enough of herself while she simultaneously plays the victim. My castle's too small. Yeah. The queen is mean to me. They won't let me call myself Her Royal Highness anymore, but I'm gonna put it all over my stationery and on the gifts that I give to my friends.
Joe Rogan didn't just throw shade. He ignited a firestorm during a recent episode of The Joe Rogan Experience. The world's most downloaded podcaster took a brutal jab at Meghan Markle, casually referring to her as the dumbest Duchess.
There are times we get together and I'm like, I just want to have DoorDash come in. And you're like, let's make some. And I'm like,
no, I don't want to cook again, Meghan. My God, take a break.
I can just show up. I can put good work out there.
That's very weird.
And she also is pretending that she's crying. We zoomed in just to see. There isn't a tear in sight. Dan, look at this. I invite the viewers to take a close-up look at this. Where's the tear?
Reopen British markets for American companies. All that Britain demands in return is that we keep these two.
No, I refuse. I'm sick of it.
The comment was quick and off the cuff, but the reaction was instant and explosive. The clip spread through social media like wildfire, racking up millions of views, stitches, and duets. While Rogan laughed it off in real time, sources indicate that Meghan Markle was absolutely fuming behind the scenes. When the stakes are this high, doesn't it make more sense to hear our story from us? She reportedly said, to which many responded, "Oh, shut up."
I don't like her.
That's what everybody says.
Yeah.
Everybody who works for her quits. Everybody says she's a bully. She's very nasty.
He's called Meghan Markle nasty and says he feels sorry for Prince Harry because his wife is a lot to deal with.
Not only is she incredibly controlling, but she's a bitch about it to everybody who works for her. When things inevitably start spiraling downward, she blames everyone but herself.
But you're the same.
you're the same.
Like, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Like, guys, you don't got to do this. Please, I'm begging you to stop.
Critics questioned her credibility, pointing out her privileged lifestyle in California, while the rest of the world grapples with a cost of living crisis. They argued that she was complaining about an institution that provided her with the titles she now monetizes. This wasn't just another offhand celebrity roast. It hit differently because Meghan's team might actually be preparing to respond. Whispers from Montecito suggest that Meghan was not expecting this level of public mockery, especially as she attempts to rehabilitate her image. Allegedly, her representatives are discussing next steps, with the words legal counsel even being floated in some circles. While Meghan has faced endless criticism in tabloids and online forums before, it's rare for someone as high-profile and unfiltered as Rogan to go this far in front of millions.
When the stakes are this high, doesn't it make more sense to hear our story from us?
Oh, shut up. What do you mean the stakes are this high? Who do you think you are? Other than a latte-munching imbecile living in luxury in California while the rest of the world's a cost of living crisis, moaning and whining about an institution which gave you the titles on which you now trade millions of dollars. What are you talking about? What stakes?
The viral moment didn't just trend because of what was said, it trended because of who said it. Joe Rogan isn't some anonymous internet troll. He's arguably the most influential voice in podcasting, with fans across every demographic. His platform serves as a cultural megaphone, so when he calls Meghan Markle the dumbest Duchess, it resonates not just with his audience, but also with her critics and fans, and perhaps most importantly, with Meghan herself. Despite claims that they aren't allowed to profit from their royal titles, Meghan and Harry have trademarked their brand, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. They receive significant allowances for living expenses. But this jab from Rogan may have been the last thing Meghan needed.
But they're not supposed to make any money off of being a member of the royal family, and yet they've trademarked apparently sort of their brand, Duke and Duchess of Sussex, and they're not allowed to make any money off of the royal family. So they're given allotments, allowances, living expenses.
How much?
It's a significant amount.
Just days before the insult aired, she launched a so-called raw, makeup-free podcast appearance, which many viewed as a desperate attempt to shift the narrative. She sought authenticity and sympathy, but instead she received a new nickname from Joe Rogan that may stick longer than any of her carefully branded talking points. Behind palace gates, Meghan Markle has never lacked a team of PR experts, legal consultants, and image strategists. Every move is calculated, but insiders claim they were caught off guard by Rogan's insult. Reports indicate that high-level conversations are already underway about whether to issue a formal statement, push back quietly through media allies, or even escalate legally.
It's tending to the soil. It's the foundation. It's what everything is going to grow out of.
She really murdered that metaphor, didn't she? It went on and on and on. And this is one of the things that I think she hasn't quite grasped, is that if you raise an idea, just raise it really crisply. She just goes on.
The language being tossed around in private reportedly includes terms like defamation, malicious intent, and character assassination. This isn't just about damage control, it's about precedent. Meghan's team knows exactly what this moment could trigger. If someone as mainstream as Rogan can mock her so blatantly, what's to stop other high-profile names from piling on? It sets a tone that might embolden critics, influencers, and comedians to take similar jabs.
She was doing something on Instagram, so I ordered some pie on Instacart.
It doesn't even make sense.
I'm going to make Meghan a charcuterie tray, which I just learned that word a few years ago.
Charcuterie tray for Meghan Markle. My God, it's just a board with food on it that then goes bad.
It was planned from the beginning. She denied being interested in the royal family, which she totally was. I know someone who knows the ex-husband who said she had a vision board with Prince Harry on it.
That's not a skill. Go cook it. Don't just buy a bunch of stuff and put it on a board pretty. That's not a skill.
For someone whose brand is tied to relatability, empathy, and social awareness, this poses a serious threat. There's also the risk of appearing too sensitive. If Meghan lashes out publicly, she risks looking like she can't take a joke. But if she stays silent, it might read as weakness or, worse, confirmation of the criticisms against her. As one Hollywood publicist reportedly put it, if she doesn't navigate this situation perfectly, it could unravel everything she's trying to rebuild.
Meghan talk about Harry and how much of a fox he is.
He's also a fox, if you haven't noticed. My husband's very, very handsome.
I mean, have you ever heard somebody have to try so hard to be like, put it out there? I'm not buying it.
Let's not forget that Meghan is attempting to re-enter the public arena with new projects, a lifestyle brand, and fresh media deals. If the vibe around her turns toxic again, those deals could be in jeopardy. Rogan's words didn't just sting. They may have struck a pressure point that Meghan's team hoped no one would touch. Ironically, Meghan was supposed to be having a moment just days before Rogan's comment went viral. She stepped into the spotlight for what was billed as her rawest, most authentic interview ever. A sit-down on the Jaime Kern-Lima podcast. No makeup, no script, just Meghan in her own words. It was positioned as a new chapter, where the Duchess would finally shed the titles, drama, and media frenzy to speak as herself.
Wow. It is interesting how she's exposing her as a yacht girl, someone who was paid off by rich men to go and hang out.
However, the question on everyone's mind after watching it wasn't, is this the real Meghan? But rather, who's she trying to fool? Critics quickly pounced, pointing out that even her vulnerability felt produced. The camera angles, lighting, and polished setting all screamed controlled. While Jaime Kern-Lima praised Meghan's strength and wisdom, the internet wasn't buying it. Comments across platforms lit up with disbelief.
Now make yourself try. Oh, I can do that so well. Oh my God, it's crazy. You're like, Meghan, 1 tear, left eye, go. Give me 3 seconds.
You could do this with one small row for your kids for breakfast, genuinely, and it makes the morning a lot more fun.
With users mocking the idea of a Duchess sending nightly emails to her children using secret addresses. The backlash intensified as Meghan's casual delivery of her now infamous "I email my kids every night" monologue became meme fodder within hours. Commenters mocked the notion of a Duchess curled up with a cup of tea, typing love notes to anonymous inboxes. The term crocodile tears surged on social media, with users accusing Meghan of weaponizing emotion for attention. Even Jaime Kern-Lima, meant to guide this raw moment, found herself under fire. Critics labelled her a hype woman, accusing her of enabling Meghan's self-congratulatory monologue rather than challenging or deepening the conversation. In a digital age where viewers crave messiness and contradiction, Meghan's performance hit the wrong note. Joe Rogan's jab wasn't just random, it came right on the heels of Meghan's podcast rollout. His comment wasn't merely about a headline, it was a response to her entire presentation. The internet seemed to side with Rogan, and if Meghan's podcast episode was meant to be her redemption arc, the internet had other plans. This isn't the first time Meghan's public image strategy has backfired, but it might be the most high-profile collapse yet.
40 minutes into the podcast, this little picture, quite a grainy picture, flashed up, which shows a basket of, homemade preserves with a card on it, HRH, Duchess of Sussex, Meghan.
I find it a little bit cringe to give a gift to a close friend and sign it Her Royal Highness.
For years, she's walked a tightrope between royalty and celebrity, leveraging titles while trying to shed the monarchy's baggage. However, every time she attempts to reset the narrative, the internet responds with sharper skepticism. After her $20 million Spotify deal was scrapped and her Netflix docuseries received harsh criticism, the pressure to win back the public was louder than ever. Meghan's original podcast, marketed as unfiltered and groundbreaking, quickly became known for being overly scripted and self-centered. When Spotify quietly pulled the plug in 2023, there was no grand farewell, just silence. Now, with Rogan's comments still echoing across headlines, industry insiders, royal commentators, and even alleged former staffers are speaking out. Their sentiments aren't pretty. Critics argue that Meghan's emotional display on the podcast was more about staying relevant than telling the truth.
And this was one of the most every mother out there will understand. She wants us to put together a fruit crudité board for our children in the morning. Now, look, Maureen.
I can't.
Look at this.
I can't.
Alleged former employees have painted a less than flattering picture of working under Meghan's watch, describing a high-pressure environment where staff burned out quickly. Even celebrity chef James Stack, who turned down a role on Meghan's Netflix series, stated that he didn't need to see the full show to know it would flop. The language used by critics is becoming increasingly harsh, signaling that what started as a backlash may now be crystallizing into a larger media consensus that Meghan's curated vulnerability is becoming a liability. Joe Rogan wasn't the first to question Meghan's authenticity, but he may have been the first to do it so bluntly and publicly. His comment has cracked something open, and while Meghan may still have supporters, the silence among industry voices is growing louder. The jokes are getting meaner, and the tolerance for her narrative is evaporating. Now, the question isn't just about what Joe Rogan said. It's about what Meghan Markle will do next.
Trouble with Meghan is that to become relatable, you have to be authentic to start with. So she's not hitting the authentic point, so then she's not getting the relatability, and then she's not getting the likability. There was a skit about the fact, well, all Britain will insist upon is that America keeps Harry and Meghan, that they're not coming back.
Whether she likes it or not, Dumbest Duchess is already etched into the cultural lexicon. Unless she plays this perfectly, it will stick. Meghan Markle has weathered bad press before, but this feels different. The sting isn't just from Rogan's words, it's from how easily they landed. One offhand insult, 3 casual words, and the entire internet erupted. Not in outrage, but in laughter. This shift matters because when someone becomes a punchline, the rules change. They lose control, and every move gets interpreted through that lens. Meghan is teetering on that edge. The more she tries to present herself as the misunderstood underdog, the more people seem to see her as the main character in a story she keeps rewriting, and not always convincingly. What's at stake now isn't just her image, it's her influence. Hollywood, the media, and her remaining fan base are watching closely. Will she adapt, or is she stuck in a formula that no longer works? Meghan built her brand on storytelling, reframing herself through struggle and resilience. But in a world dissecting every word and every anecdote, she may need to write a new chapter fast, or risk becoming irrelevant. What do you think? Is Meghan finally being exposed as a master manipulator of public sympathy? Or is she still just the target of unfair media attacks from powerful voices like Joe Rogan? Will she speak out or stay silent and let the headlines do the talking? Let us know in the comments, because this story is far from over. Be sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned. The next video on your screen is waiting, and trust me, you won't believe what's coming next.